Shalom, truth seekers. Sorry about the format of this video, but I moved this past year. It was a crazy year, and we're kind of living closer to an off-grid situation where we have very limited internet, and so I pretty much need to figure out how to do everything with my phone these days. So until I figure out a better way to do this, sorry, but this is all I could do to get the information out. So I actually included, I didn't change this map from last year because last spring, in the third Gregorian month, the seasonal transition from winter to spring in the north, we had more help from other truth seekers around the world collecting sundial data in South Africa and in Australia, and that helped us to paint the picture of where time begins, because this man-made international date line out in the Pacific Ocean is clearly man-made. It's not a creator thing. And so the point of this effort is, the solar cycle being like 365.2425-ish days, if the cycle ended here, right on this vertical line, last year, then because of the extra 0.24 or 0.25 days, like it would take 365 days to return to this point, going round and round and round. But then there's an extra 0.24 of a day that it jumps, so that's approximately 25% of the map. So let's see here. So yeah, last year's data, like I said, we had a lot of good data, and we were able to kind of narrow things down to, it appeared the first day of spring in 2021 happened somewhere in this zone between these two black lines. And so kind of the east coast of the United States last year just happened to be at the start of the year. So I expect this year, 365 days later, the sun goes round and round and round and round and round, and it gets back to this point. But then it has to go an extra 0.24 days to complete its cycle, and that's somewhere out here. So those who were at the beginning of time last year, and also we're not sure where it began last year, somewhere in this zone. So even though it jumps 25% of the map, maybe if it did start right here, 25% of the map is all the way over here. But if it started somewhere out here, then maybe 25% of the map might land you somewhere right in the middle of the United States. We're not sure. So this would have been, it is more ideal to answer the question of where time begins. We need help from other truth seekers around the world. So I definitely just want to keep encouraging people to get involved and collect data. And so I have some data here that I'll run through real quickly, but I also just wanted to say, if any of you are into Facebook, there are more pictures and data that I collect with respect to all this data collection in the Facebook group titled Solar Tracking Observations Confirming the Creator's Times via Genesis 1:14. So, yeah, I include some links for people's YouTube video expressing their final thoughts about what happened this year, and some contact information. If anyone has any specific information about any of this data, questions about it, just let me know. My email is right here, avoiceoftruthandlove@gmail.com. So reach out to me, or I'm on YouTube, comment on the video, or I'm also on Facebook. My profile on Facebook is the same as my profile on YouTube, name and picture. So anyway, so yeah, it was tricky. Without a doubt, I think there's enough witnesses to prove that from the east coast of the United States, at least to the middle of the United States here, I guess Oklahoma, definitely the first day of spring, the straight line was seen on the 20th, and the first day of spring definitely happened on the 21st. But the question again is, well, where did time begin last year, and where did time begin this year? Like the time does start somewhere, and maybe it started right after this point. And so when your sun keeps progressing this way and it crosses the international date line, then Australia is on a different Gregorian date. It's still within the same 24 hours, but it's just a different date because of the man-made international dateline. So unfortunately, I am not able to answer the question. For example, in Australia or South Africa, I am not exactly sure if you guys were ahead or behind of us this year. All I can say, let me just think about it for a minute. So if the sun started here, like, because what if there was enough of 24% for it to start here? So then we would have been on the East Coast at the beginning again. So as the sun keeps progressing left and left and left, west and west and west, everybody following would experience that first day of spring. So I mean, in that case, it was the first day of spring was the 21st, 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 21st. But then when it flips over here, I guess you guys would be seeing it on the 22nd, the first day of spring. And that seems late. So I would actually say there's a very good chance that we saw the straight line pattern actually at the end of time. So we were at the beginning last year, but now this year the beginning jumped over us, possibly all the way out to here. And I think remnant of light, I think that's E, so all the way out, pretty much all the way out to the East Coast, was saying, I mean, they didn't have the best data they would have liked, but they were thinking that the 21st was also the first day of spring. I got a lot of truth seekers on the West Coast got rained out this year, so I'm just not able to say for sure. But I mean, if the start of time did happen maybe right out here this year, then we might have been at the end. United States might have been at the end of time this year and not the beginning if it jumped over us. So in that case, Australia, for example, would have had their first day of the year before us because we were at the end. So if first day of spring was on the 21st for us, you go backwards, it's still the 21st, 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 until you hit that man-made international dateline. So that seems to make more sense. Because I don't think the 22nd even makes sense for having the first day of spring that late. I think it kind of fluctuates between the what they call like the 20th and the 21st. But yeah, I mean, I just had to put this summary out there as food for thought. If anyone knows of anyone who collected data anywhere else in the world, just one person collecting data over here can help to answer the question of what, where time began with a little more accuracy. But it's kind of looking like, based on the 22nd being a little, I think that's a little too far out. I would say there's probably a good chance that we in the United States were at the end of time this year, and that the Creator's international dateline, or the start of the solar cycle, happened probably out here, just to the west of the coast, out in the Pacific Ocean somewhere. So again, within the same 24-hour period. So if this was where time began. Again, it's really confusing with the international dateline, but I think if we saw it on the 21st, go back this way, 21st, 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 so I think it would have been the 21st for Australia this year too. I don't know, that's kind of my food for thought. Yeah, it would just be nice to have more people all over the earth, and we had that last year, and that's why we were able to almost, with pretty good certainty, narrow it down to just this zone here, and kind of answer the question for other people about when time began in Australia and Africa and stuff. But definitely, if you were in the United States, it sounds like for sure within, not maybe way out on the west, I'm not sure, but definitely maybe from remnant of light to the East Coast, it sounded like the first day of the solar season of spring was on the 21st this year. So again, if anyone knows of truth seekers who collected data anywhere else in the world, that would be most helpful. and maybe I could do a follow-up if I hear from anyone else. So again, yeah, I guess I should talk briefly about this. So Juan Carlos, the witnesses for this year. Yeah, Juan Carlos, and he has a video. Oh gosh, I usually do share this this spreadsheet to a shared folder on Google Drive, but I like technology. I'm a little challenged with technology these days. So if anyone wants to actually try and track these things down, let me know. I can get these links to you. I could get the spreadsheet to you, or you can just go to the YouTube channel and you'll see his conclusions video, final thoughts video. But he was saying with the wooden armillary that he believes the straight line method sign, it has pretty good correlation with his armillary, so I guess that happened on the 20th for him this year. So the first day of spring for him would be the 21st. So I guess, yeah, actually all the way out to here then would be where time began, or we could say was the 21st, definitely. So, and then I myself, I saw two curves on the days straddling the straight line, so I'm confident for West Virginia we were seeing the first day of spring on the 21st. And then another truth seeker in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was seeing, I guess, the straight line on the 20th. He didn't start collecting data until 10:45 in the morning, though, so it's a little be better if it was earlier in the morning. But I guess it's possible. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And again, remnant of light following up on the on that E grid line approximately. You can check out their channel and on YouTube, Remnant of Light, and oh, I guess I gotta get their link for their. Maybe I'll put it in the wrong. I just got to get their link tracked down for that video. But yeah, they were thinking the first day of spring was 21st though, but I think they only were able to collect data on the 18th and the 21st. So it's a little tricky. Unfortunately, all I can say for sure is around West Virginia, and I guess Juan Carlos was pretty confident about his data too. Like, so this area was definitely having the first day of spring on the 21st. So I'm bummed I'm not able to paint a better picture for you, but unfortunately we just didn't have too many people collecting data this year. I did reach out to different people that I've worked with in the past, and they just didn't have the opportunity, or the sunlight, something was going on. They just didn't get the opportunity to collect data, so we couldn't answer those questions this year. But based on the previous year's data, and just the timing of how this happens, I think it's safe to say that when we saw it here, we were probably at the end of time this year. So you guys saw the first day of spring before us out this way. So that's it for now. Shalom. May Allah bless as we continually seek out His truth and love with a pure heart.